Hello everybody, my name is Gary, and in this video I'm going to show you a few little tips and tricks on how to get recording better for your OBS system. So first of all, if you have a lower end computer, then you're going to want to use some of these, maybe not all, but you're going to want to use some of these to help your video get better. Alright, so first of all, you're going to go to your settings. You can either do that through File and then Settings, or you can just click Settings right here. Next, you're going to, from the General, there's nothing really you want to do here. Go to Advanced. Now there's two that I would recommend. Either have priority high or above normal. These will help you a lot. I've done high and mine works fine, but if you have any issues with very big delay, go above normal. If you do this, you can now apply changes and see what happens. Now all this is going to be based off of CPU usage. If my CPU usage is above 35-ish, it's usually going to be choppy, and it's going to even skip a lot of what you've recorded. So you want your general CPU between as low as possible when recording or streaming. The less it is, the better the quality of the video. So let's go back to settings. If you go above normal, it didn't really do much. It did set it down a bit. It just went up to 20. But it does better for gaming because if you have above normal, there'll be less lag. So if you want, specifically for gaming, I'd recommend above normal. Next, go to your video. Another thing that can help usage of your video, I can't change it right now, but another thing that can help get down your CPU is setting your base and your output to the same thing. So it could be 1080p, but you want them both the same number. I've went with 720. Also, with downscale filter, you don't want that, so you're going to go with your filter bilinear. Bilinear cannot do good with scaling. And what happens is if these two are different, so say this is 1280 720 by 720, and this is 1080, then this won't work, and all your videos will start getting blurry. So if you keep them the same, like this, it will give you the best thing. Also, if you really want to change your stuff, you can change your maximum FPS. The more FPS you have, the more it has to work to get to there. So, if you want to use it, you can. Alright, so another thing, we're going to go to output. Now, streaming, you can do the same things, but we're going to go over recording mainly for this. Alright, first of all, recording format. Your recording format, if you cannot handle MP4 because your computer is destroyed, then go with FLV. FLV will require you to get another app to actually use to see it, but it will greatly reduce your CPU usage on just generator. Next, set your encoder to your whatever you have, but not use your built-in software. If you use your built-in software, what will happen is the CPU will use its own software because that's how you use a CPU, and it will make your CPU percentage go really high. And also make sure your rescale is what you had on your other ones. Also set this to advanced, because if you don't set it to simple, if it's on simple, then you won't get any of this, and it'll be useless. Another thing I realized is if you go down here and you set, which one was it? Well, if you set a certain one, you can set these. Now, this is dependent on you. This, for me, is what works the best. I recommend having B-frames 1, whatever bit rate your PC can handle. That's dependent on your internet. CBR, because that's the standard. The async depth, I don't know what that does. I'll do some tinkering and see what happens. And keep keyframe intervals between 2 to 3. Once you've gotten all these settings, what you should be recording at with just your display, which is this is why it's the infinite loop. It will, for me, for my specific computer, your computer could be, well, I'm running a laptop currently. Your laptop can be better than mine, and if it is, your CPU will be a lot lower than this. But if your CPU is higher, it means you need to do tinkering with one of these. And I'll go to the specific ones you need to tinker with. Go to output, recording. Now, one thing may be MP4. Set it to FLV if not. One thing is, if you set it to 1080 and it doesn't work, set it to try setting it to 720 or lower if you can, and this will help out. And then also tinker with these. I do believe that B-frame should always be 1, but async depth and keyframe intervals should be tinkered with to see what is the best. Now, target usage as well. I put it at balanced. I don't know what this does. I don't know, but I will figure that out in another video. Now, this is just the CPU usage for this specific thing, which is the display capture right here. Usually this is how people record their own screens on laptops, so if I go up here and click this, you'll see my screen only, instead of seeing this right here. And now I've just recently tested this with my Elgato hd60s, and I'd just like to say it is recordable. It is around 30 CPU usage, and this is a dual-core processor, meaning that it only has 2 cores to use for each process it does, meaning it has less room for using CPU. Also, meaning, this means that with more processors, there can be more CPU usage distributed between each processor, or between each core in the processor. Usually this will just decrease all actions that you use. So if you have a quad-core processor and you use this, your CPU usage currently would be a lot lower than this usage right here. Like I said, 30 frames isn't the worst. If you're using a high FPS game, first-person shooter or something like that, you may want it a little bit higher, but it shouldn't be too much of a difference. Some people set theirs to 40 just so they can get a little bit better. Some set to 50, and most consoles don't run exactly at 60 the whole time. They'll run at maybe at 50 at the worst 30 to 40 frames. But if this doesn't work for y'all, search it up on the internet. Because then after that, I don't know. It may be your computer itself that is the problem. And for those videos, I cannot help you with. You can search them up. Just search up how to decrease CPU usage. And it will give you a few tips to make sure your CPU base is lower, so on this it will go lower as well when recording. For me, it took the longest time to get the recording down because every time I would do it, it would be, say, 5%. When it's not recording, it's around 5%. But when it's recording, then it would go to 50 to 60, sometimes to 40, and that's a little too much. While this right now is around 20 to 19, sometimes it goes to 21, but it doesn't really go that high, meaning that your CPU won't be overusing itself, meaning that your videos won't be choppy and not record the whole video, because the more CPU usage you have, the more choppy your video will be. So sometimes you may be, so say I'm talking right now, and I'm in the middle of a sentence, and then it just cuts off, and it skips to a different part. But if you found this useful, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to see any more tips to try to help, if I learn anything more, please put that in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.